Alright, back with MacArthur's War OSG games. We are now moving into the February 1951 turn. Right now it looks like the communists have a slight lead, but that could easily flip with a victory point, and there's some within reach. For the UN, go for this, that's a victory point. And then there's always Pyongyang. Don't know, the next victory points are up here then. Don't know if that's even worth going after. Hordes of Chinese up here. But they got to spend victory points to bring them across the border. And we got some Marines poised to invade if the weather's appropriate. Speaking of which, that's the big roll now. We're on the weather phase. And we are in February. So 50-50. Let's see what happens. A 3. Overcast. And what does overcast mean? We look down here. 1 AP, no airborne assaults. Guess what? The invasion can occur. So, where would the Marines want to invade? They're on a port, they're set, they're ready to go. Alright, so let's go ahead and shift it to overcast. And so they're going to have 3 points. That's about it, 3 AP. Next we look at the escalation chart. We are at limited war. The US gets 4, they'll get 3. Save 1 maybe for defense. We've also got replacements, so, but again, the UN, I don't think want to escalate, so they're not going to roll. For MacArthur's dream, yet. And looking at this, the ROK get 2 because they own their capital. The UN gets 1 and the US gets 2. So the UN's easy, give it to the Brits. The ROK need to, they got a whole bunch of eliminated units here. Let's thread this out here. Let's pull back the 7th and the cap and put them both in Seoul. Cap, okay. There we go. So, and then the US gets replacements, but all their units are at full strength. So they basically use it or lose it. So that's all done. Oh, the air phase. I'm not going to do interdiction, so I'm not going to worry about that. We're on the reinforcement phase now. Yeah, I get 3, and there they are. And there's no need for interdiction. All it does is put the units out of supply and they can't move fast, but it doesn't matter at this point. So save them for combat. Collects and applies as a replacement. Mobilize the National Guard. I'm not going to do that. Victory points are too much. Now strategic movement. Conducts and resolves amphibious assaults. Places the 7th Fleet. Now here's our problem. Bummer. Wherever I assault, I have to place the 7th Fleet. I'm tempted to assault here to grab the victory point. But then 7th Fleet goes over there, and then my attack on Pyongyang won't get the shift for it. Unless I want to invade here, and then I can attack Pyongyang from the rear, and then let these guys do that. So, that's tempting. Let's take a quick look at them. Can they be used in combat? But if they do move here and they're overstacked, we'll see. Let's see where amphibious assaults are. 7th Fleet, naval bombardment. 7th Fleet must be present on the one. Okay. Okay. I'm not seeing amphibious assault yet. That's movement. Let me see. Here it is. It's 2 airborne, 2 amphibs. South Koreans have a marine unit. Marine divisions being in the strategic move phase and supply in either Korea area or an undestroyed port may conduct an amphib. any coastal hex on the map. Land on a coastal hex. Amphibious landing can only be conducted on clear and overcast. 7th Fleet counter must be present. Conducted in enemy zones of control and into a hex. If a hex contains enemy units, they have to assault. Stack and restriction is restored. With the enemy, it's mandatory. Carry out combat is resolved during the same phase, as long as opponents airborne and amphib. During the strategic movement phase of the assault, assaulting airborne and amphib units lose their zone of control for retreat purposes. The U.S. player captures a port as a result of an amphib. He may strategically move units in during all. So the question is, can they attack following this? During the ensuing combat, these two units attack Seoul. Okay, that's good. That seems to imply that you can attack afterwards. See movement occurs during the ensuing combat phase. Yes. So actually, this is a coastal hex, and if we pop up here, we will get the whammy of having the 7th Fleet, having 2 Marines, having them surrounded, and then being able to attack them. And then we'll move some units up here to grab this. So that's what's going to happen. They're going to land here. 7th Fleet is going to go here. And that positions us perfectly for taking Pyongyang. Then they can move down here for a later invasion. So that right there, they've got 16. Now we got 26, and we could move these guys over to reinforce that. Then these guys could pull a trick here. It's now or never to take this too. And we got the Brits moving up. Oh, they can be part of this attack too. Probably want to attack from here. So let's see. This guy can pull off this move. So anyway, I seem to be going into the movement phase now, as opposed to radioactive waste. So we've done the strat move, offboard combat, movement phase. So this guy will move here. So now effectively we have 26, 36, 46 to 16. Well, that's still need more. I think we're going to have to slip somebody else over there just to get the not having effect there. But the Brits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, let's bring the Brits into the game here. That's 30 and 26 is 30 and 26 is 56. 56. 16. Wow, this is tough math. 32 and 32 is 64. So we want to get to 64. And right now we have 56 and 10 is 66. Let's see if I did that right. 30, 56, 66 to 64 is 4 to 1. We're going to crank that puppy up with 5 to 1, 6 to 1. Well, that's not quite sure. Wait, that's not. It's. Oh, I think I may have messed this up here. Got to be careful with these shifts. Okay, I get to 4 to 1. Oh, I did get to 4 to 1. Awesome. And then 1 shift for naval, 1 shift for air, and we've maxed it out. So it is the big attack on Pyongyang, and there, actually, ironically, that place is not a major city, it's a minor city. So they get +1 die roll modifier, and that's it. So those units are done. Now the question is what to do with the rest of these. I have to take this hex, or they're going to totally reinforce it and move me down. Don't want that. I got my full movement, 2, 4, 6. Okay, so this guy, I know they'll attack if I do that. I mean, is it worth it? Can't use the Marines for there. I have to do something really scary here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 1, 2, 3. And then this guy, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, because they can leak here. If I go here, then they're leaking here. Nope. I'm going to go there. And actually, these guys do need to move up to do something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. That's right where I want them. Okay. That's the movement phase. Now, these guys do not have, so I'll save these two for later attacks. These guys don't have the horsepower to take on this guy in rough terrain. That's only 20 to 12. That's 1 to 1, shift down 1, up 1. It's still just a 1 to 1. We're not going to do this. So this is it. The only attack, the big attack, 8 to 1. God, if we get an exchange, that'll be a nightmare. I'm afraid to click. I got no North Koreans involved. I mean, no South Koreans involved in this attack. 4. Awesome. What was the worst that could have happened to DR? Well, they could have moved 3 over here, but we got an elimination. The Chinese protecting here did not win. So we've taken it. I can actually move these units up. Well, no, he can move there, so we'll leave the Brits behind on the port. Okay, so that's 2 victory points there. So this barely turns the tide. This is it. The U.S. moves up 2. They move down 2. And now, if the U.S. can hold what they got here, they could start rolling for stalemate. Or the Chinese can escalate, and these guys will come flooding across, and they'll get all these victory points. Change the scope. That could be tempting. All right, so this guy's out in the middle of nowhere. So I'm going to turn off my move marker here. And the Marines have arrived, and they can sweep up here. I don't know why. This is a somewhat defensible portion of the peninsula. They could maybe stalemate here and win by a few victory points. Alright, so let's look here. We did the combat. I think we're done. And the end phase. Let's see what it says. Yeah, we're not going to... Well, you got to be careful with your stalemate. I'm not going to use it. You can only use it once every year, so... I think it's kind of a close game. The Chinese could decide to escalate, and then that would be interesting. Alright, I think that's good enough. We're at 13 minutes. That's a nice period of time. So thanks for watching. If you like, click like, and if you want to be notified next time I post, please subscribe. Thanks for listening.